my weakness. You are perfect in my weakness. I've got too many secrets. Do my questions have an answer?
So that was your first preview of Trampolines' debut single coming out tomorrow.
What's up?
And we're here today with Lane and Carrie of Trampolines. Say what's up to everyone out there.
What's up, you guys? How you doing?
Thanks for
What's
having
up,
us.
Ian? You're the man. Thanks for showing that, bro.
No worries at all. Where are you beaming in from?
Man, we're in the U.S. right now. We're in Washington State.
How is lockdown treating you over there?
Dude, it's pretty cool because we just stay at my brother and my parents' house.
Why don't we
and
show
they got
the
like,
view?
yeah, let me show you real quick, bro.
Sure.
Let's see.
Just right outside here.
It's like all foresty, bro.
Man.
It's like national forest all the way to Canada. So we just go like ride dirt bikes around and turn our speakers up way, way, way too loud. It's awesome.
I wish I could do that here. The neighbours phone me and say, turn that music down, turn that music down.
Oh man. Yeah. Play my new single Through the Walls so that, it'll be like a promotional thing. People will be like Shazamming through the walls.
Trust me, that my neighbours will know about your single tomorrow.
Yes.
Woo!
That looks beautiful there. I'll be right over, yeah? I'll hang on.
Yeah, come on
No,
down,
hang on.
man.
I won't. So how has God been kind of working in your hearts during this time of reset and all that kind of stuff?
It's you want to answer that one?
Yeah. We've really had a lot of time to just realize some of the times that you're kind of allowing yourself to be too busy to focus on God. This has really been an intentional slowdown for everyone. And it's really been great in the way that we've had so much time to do extra Bible studies, time to talk to people, like slow down and just like reach out, see how people are doing and focus on other people instead of maybe what we've got going on business-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been an excellent time to be able to get some more message content out too. The other day Lane came up with this great idea for a message video. I don't know if you saw that on our Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, I have. I can't get Lane's one piece bodysuit out of my mind.
Bro, yeah. Put a poster of that on your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, so he's come up with some really good ideas like that, and we've really just had so much time to film these ideas. Normally, we'll come up with an idea like that and be quite busy. So this has been great. It's been a great opportunity to catch up, to focus on God, focus on people and family. And
kind of like everybody else, we're kind of going crazy, just staying in one place. And it's great because it's just weird ideas come up and just funny stuff happens, and it's good times.
Yeah, that worries me, that you and weird is probably way beyond everyone else's weird.
God's power made perfect in our weakness, bro.
in our weirdness.
In our weirdness.
Ooh.
So I did watch that video, and there was a certain Bible passage at the end read in a certain way. So tell us about how that idea came about and exactly what it was.
Yeah. Our friend Morgan Fisher, she's an excellent person. She's got a great sense of humor, and she tagged us on something in Facebook saying, if you haven't read the YouVersion translation in Hawaiian Pidgin, the Bible translation of Hawaiian Pidgin, you need to go check it out. So she tagged us in this, and so we looked at it, and it was just awesome. It was such a, it's funny. It's actually, it's even a great Bible study tool because it's such a,
I understand
really
it pretty
relatable
well.
language, whereas sometimes there's some things in like NIV or NLT that I'm like, what does that mean? But it's quite understandable to read it in the Hawaiian Pidgin version. But the other thing is that obviously it sounds just really awesome.
It gets your attention. The one thing we wanted to film the first time her trying to read the verse so that it was just a raw, just exactly how, it was meant to be.
Oh, don't worry. We could tell that she wanted to laugh all the way through it.
Yeah.
I think that came across well. Don't worry.
So yeah, that was a great idea.
Yeah, download it on your phone, bro.
I will be going looking for it later.
You can get it in the YouVersion app under translations. It's called Hawaiian Pidgin, and you can download it and get the entire Bible written in that translation. It's great.
Studying the word whilst having a laugh sounds like the perfect combination to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Kerry was rocking a beard while she was reading that. So does she rock a beard better than you, Lance, or Lane?
Half the week or so, Monday through Wednesday, she usually.
You just are angry because you can't grow one.
Oh, yeah, my beard is terrible.
I think his beard is great, but we had to draw that one on. It wasn't real, unfortunately.
That wasn't real. What?
It was real.
No, unfortunately not. Trick of the camera.
Well, there's your answer, Lane. You can just draw one on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. I used to actually when I was in high school, and I'd get in trouble
with that.
When I'd get sent to the principal's office in high school, I would Sharpie a mustache on because I knew that there's no way the principal could take me seriously and really get angry at me if I did that. And it worked every time, bro. They would just sit there and laugh and okay, go back to class.
Where were you in my school days? I could have done with you as a friend and an influence.
It's a good tip for anybody out there that a little mischievous.
Maybe if you get sent to your boss's office, try it out, see if it works the same.
Yeah, he might give me a bit of a funny look and just send me home and say, "Scrub that off." So if you could go back to school kid you, what would you say about life and how to tackle life and faith and everything? What would be the one thing you'd say to your, 10-year-old self?
Yeah, man. I was thinking about that the other day because it was my birthday a couple of days ago, and I was thinking, dang,
happy birthday to you.
Thank you, bro.
I can't sing.
No, it sounded good. Just throw some auto-tune on there like I do, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, quite a lot of auto-tune.
I was just thinking the other day, I had a lot of fall downs and a lot of wasted time in the period of the last 10 years or whatever, but it's cool to think of how right now my child self would be pretty stoked with just with what we're doing now, and just with traveling and making funny videos and making songs that are just buck wild but about Jesus, and just I don't know, it was cool to think about that I'd be stoked on that, and kind of living in a place right now where I am really intentional with, who we want to be and what message we want to put across and how we want to do it and the fun that we want to have along the way. I've been doing music for 10 or 12 years, and a lot of that time was trying to do this or trying to do that or trying to be this or trying to make it here or do this for this reason, rather than just being myself and just hollering Jesus over a fat bass beat, and so it's good. It's a good time.
That's awesome. What about you, Carrie?
That's a really good question. That's awesome. Gosh, if I could go back, I would probably tell myself that I don't need to compare myself to other people. Obviously, that's a problem that a lot of kids, teenagers have. And I feel like I spent probably half of my life comparing myself to other people. And then in the last maybe 2 years, God has really set me free from that. And I just get to see how great life is when I'm just being myself and being who I was designed to be instead of trying to be this person or that. And then the other thing I think I would say is don't waste time. I used to waste so much time. Don't get a smartphone ever. Just stop right now before it becomes a problem. Don't get a Facebook. Don't get a smartphone. Just start working on the things that you really enjoy. So, and then of course, don't be embarrassed about dumb things, because kids always get embarrassed about everything, and they don't need to be. So funny.
True.
Well, speaking of embarrassing stuff, let's start delving into your relationship. So, how did you two meet, and how did you kind of think, let's do this together. Let's do life together.
We 3 years ago.
It was a little over 3 years.
A little over 3 years ago.
Get it right, Lane.
3.5. Neither of us know.
I was at a coffee shop in my hometown in Wyoming for the first time in a while, and she had just moved there 2 weeks before that, and she was working at the coffee shop, and I was like, I mean, it's a small town, so everybody, and she was obviously new. I was like, who is that? And so I went in there
with that accent.
Yeah. Who is that? Oh my gosh. And I was in there with my friends, and I I was gonna say something, and then I wussed out.
No, you said something. You came up and you said, "What's your name?" And I said, "My name's Carrie."
Mm-hmm.
And you said, "Oh, cool." And then he walked away.
And then I wussed out and I left. And then I was like, guys, I got to go back. This is so lame, but let's go back and get another 4 like London fog teas.
30 minutes later. It was less than 30
And so we went back, and then I was like, okay, I'll just write my phone number on the coffee sleeve and give it to her, because it was super busy, super awkward. So yeah, phone number on the coffee sleeve thing. And then she texted me.
He was really, really confident. For how nervous he said he was, he didn't seem like it.
I was scared.
Yeah, I can imagine even a nervous Lane is quite confident.
Yeah, pretty much.
Take the coffee sleeve.
He was so suave. He was like, "Oh, what's your name? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, good to meet you." And like just floated away.
No way.
Okay, I don't know if that guy's interested or if he just wanted to know my name or what. Anyways,
it worked.
It worked. Hallelujah. So if you could get two actors, or an actor and actress to play your meeting and your story, who would you get?
Ooh.
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, you go first. Who would play you?
It is my job in this interview.
What's that?
It is my job to ask you questions in this interview.
Yeah. Oh no, that's perfect.
But the questions are so good. It's great.
Yeah, I love Justin Timberlake so much.
Oh, come on.
I love Timberlake. She doesn't like him as much, but I love him, man. He's he seems like such a nice guy. He's got great music. He loves his wife. Like, such a cool dude. I would maybe have Timberlake play me.
Because you love him.
Because I love him.
Okay, who would play me?
I don't know. What do you think?
No, you tell. Who would play me, and I'll say who would play you and I.
Okay. Maybe Angelina Jolie.
Wow.
Kind of a Tomb Raider vibe.
That's nice. Wow.
What do you think?
I didn't know it was that cool.
That came to mind very quickly.
Yeah. Let's see. For you, I'm having trouble thinking of an actor. Somebody that's like really cool and suave, but kind of like silly at the same time. I think Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt? He seems like a cool guy. I'll take that.
I think Chris Pratt would be you.
Not Harrison Ford.
Or maybe Jim Carrey.
Jim
Carrey. Oh my gosh. Lane could be Jim Carrey, but not at that point. In that point in the meeting. Or I guess if it was our whole life story, no, I'd still choose Chris Pratt maybe. Or Jim. I'd choose them as a mix. Try to mix them together.
Yeah.
And then,
it's pretty good.
For myself, man, I don't really know any awkward female actors. Not that I'm awkward in a bad way, but I'm just a little bit weird. I don't know that. Who would you say else?
An awkward Angelina Jolie.
An awkward Angelina
Jolie.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Zooey Deschanel is a little funny sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
That's awesome. So tell everyone about how you got married.
Wait. Who would play you, bro?
What, in your story?
Yeah. Who would play you in my story?
I don't know. You're not supposed to turn the interview on me. Let's go for someone handsome. Let's go for Brad Pitt.
Oh, nice. Good choice.
You got it, bro. Okay, sorry. What were you saying?
So tell everyone about how you got married and the unique way you got married.
Well, one day I was sitting in the loft that Lane and I worked in, and Lane had a trampoline in his office. I don't know if you ever knew that. He literally assembled a trampoline in his office, of course. So I was sitting there, and there were kids playing on the trampoline, and I said, we should just get married on that trampoline. And he said, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started joking about it, and then we actually got up to like wedding planning time, and we were like, do you really want to get married on a trampoline? Should we do it? And we were both like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And we were in this park that didn't really have a good stage area. Well, it had a stage, but it would have required everybody to sit in the sunlight. So we didn't want to like roast everyone in the middle of August. So we were like, let's use the trampoline as a stage. Let's actually get married on the trampoline. So we cleared it with our pastor.
This guy that lived next to the park, like right on the edge of the park, had a trampoline right in his yard. And we were like, let's just go knock on his door and ask if we can borrow his trampoline to get married on. So we knocked on his door, and he was like, yeah, bro, yeah, go ahead. So we picked it up over his fence and put it in the park. It was awesome.
Just carried over, yeah. So
that's amazing. And if anyone wants to see a picture from their wedding, just scroll down all the way to the bottom of their Instagram account, And you can see it there. It's one of the most epic wedding photos, probably the most epic wedding photo I've ever seen.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you,
I appreciate it.
So is that where the name, we probably better start talking about this new band, Trampolines. So is that where the name Trampolines came from?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We were when we came up with this, because we worked in kind of the mainstream pop music industry for a while and did most of our touring, and it was kind of a mission field in that, and we loved it, and we'll still be a part of that. But we were a year ago we were in China, and we signed a record deal with a label in China, and we were doing some kind of mainstream pop music there. And it's funny, we moved there for a few months, and it's a funny place, China, to say this, but all we did was go to church. We were like going to church all the time. We were always hanging out with church friends, doing Bible studies. And it was like, we moved there for pop music, and it was just like Jesus, Jesus, Jesus everywhere. And we were writing, you know, new music, and it just, it made sense. And we were kind of like, one of our favorite things we called trampoline evangelism. So we would just like, you know, because you can't go and just, you know, preach on the streets in China, but we would just take friends to trampoline parks in China all the time. And that was just our thing. That was like, it was like church and going to trampoline parks in China, and that was it. And so we were like, we should just call our new band Trampolines, straight up. And it just made sense with the wedding and everything.
And it wasn't taken. That was amazing.
Sweet.
That's amazing. So were you just like preaching sermons whilst you were bouncing up and down? Did you have to control your behavior quite well?
No, it was cool. It was a cool way to build community and like, you know, have good conversations with new friends. And we got to see the beginning of Hillsong Church opening in China at that time. And so it was just a lot of cool community aspects, and a lot of it we brought to the trampoline park.
That's awesome. So when did you kind of first know that you wanted to actually start up this band? When did God plant that seed and you've recognized, yeah, this is actually going to be a thing. It's not just an idea anymore.
Say maybe when we went to Thailand.
Yeah. Well, even a little after that. Well, okay. So we had to do a visa run in China, and it just so happened that Lane's sister needed help with her school. She has a school for Burmese migrant students in Thailand. So she asked us to come out and help. And so we bought the tickets, and on the way I was in the airport, and I was scrolling through Facebook and saw this picture of this kid with, he had cerebral palsy, and he was in China. He was an orphan, and he was in this orphanage for special needs children, and he had to lick milk powder off of a floor because he couldn't eat with his hands, and they had no money for real food. And so this was just like this really wild moment of God, like unlocking this place in my heart that I didn't know existed. It was immediately, I was just overwhelmed by this feeling of like, why am I not reaching out and helping people? Like, why am I focusing so much on music? Like, I'm so in love with God, but I'm not helping his people. I'm not helping any people, really. A little bit here and there, but not enough for what I felt in that moment. And so it was perfect timing, because then we were going to Thailand and helping with all these children. And it just, while we were there, I looked at Lane and I was like, let's just not go back. Let's just like do missions and like go around the world and just help people. We'll just, you know, whoever has our stuff can sell it and they can keep the money. Like, and so Lane was like, that's a little bit crazy. We have to plan. Let's go back, you know, get our stuff, like do this properly. And so we came back, and at that time, it became really clear that part of the reach that we've really had as Christians is through music. Like, we've had so many amazing opportunities to do mission work and reach into people's lives because of our music careers. And it became clear that was, obviously it's huge in our hearts too. We love doing music. So it was like, why don't we just do this as a band? Like, let's do this as a mission team in a band. Like, this will be we'll perform for people, we'll do music with people, we'll teach kids music, and we'll do missions at the same time. And it just, you know, it's
kind of turned into like less just music business and just kind of the business industry side of music, and more like, let's just do exactly what's on our heart. Let's do missions. Let's continue playing shows and producing albums. We can do all that while we're on the road and just keep moving. And and also just being intentional with our music and stuff. rather than trying to get to a certain point and then have a ministry, from, as a big pop star or something like that. More of like, man, every second counts, every minute that we have, every person we talk to, we gotta talk about what is the most important thing in our life, which is Jesus, and with everything we're doing. And we were stoked, and we just went buck wild with that concept, and just started into the mission field and into producing new music and videos that just were really intentional with that direction.
That's awesome. So through starting all this up with doing it for a mission reason beyond just the music stuff, what's the kind of most impactful story that you can tell us of how your music has connected you into a place where God needed you?
Wow, that's a cool question. I think in the last few months we've been, until we had to come back to the States, we were really, and we're going to continue on as soon as all this is cleared up. Just like we started in Burma, Myanmar, with a group called the Free Burma Rangers. And they're just an amazing God-focused ministry and missions team that goes into places like Burma and Syria and Iraq and Sudan, and help people that are going through, like in Burma, it's the longest civil war in history. And we already had a fan base in Myanmar through that, and we're playing shows over there and stuff. Wanted to do more there as well. And so we kind of went from playing in the city to, in the big cities there, to going out into the villages up in the mountains and in the jungle with this team, Free Burma Rangers. And so we had like battery powered speakers and solar panels, put them on donkeys, and like we're carrying like 50-pound backpacks up these mountains, like far.
They were 50-pound backpacks, just in case they watch this.
Wait, something like that.
They're great
whatever.
team of people.
Anyways, and going with them, and they had kids programs, medical programs, and all kinds of just ways of general helping these different villages. And then we do a concert, and we made a song out there in the village with a few people, and so that was one of my favorites. It was like a tour, but it was totally different. It was like backpacks, donkeys, and like these speakers that would like sometimes work and sometimes wouldn't, and playing to people that had never heard our style of music. Or we brought glow sticks. Like this whole field of kids jumping up and down with glow sticks, going nuts. And like, this is the first time they've experienced anything like that. And it was just beautiful. And to just, get to learn from them as well. And
I think another thing about that was really special is that Saheli Eubank, when we were talking to her after the trip got over, she's the daughter of the founders. And she said that she thinks it's, what we did was really cool and really important, because to see that they have visibility and exposure, that there are like American musicians coming out to play concerts with them, like, and to like come and just be with them and hike into the jungle for 3 days to play a show and have fun together. Like, she said that she thinks that means a lot to them, because to know that they're seen, and that people know what's happening, and that they are thinking about them and care about them, and that they want to be there with them.
And bring awareness to some of the ethnic tribes that are just, we played at a church up in the mountains there that had been burned down 3 times and rebuilt. And just, and like for the people, it was like, oh, like she said, it's cool that these, that people know about this, and that these, American musicians are coming here and stuff like that. But really, it was for us, it was like, man, thank you for letting us come here and connect with you and get to see your life and pray for you. And it was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. So that to segue onto a perfect question for that, showing God's reckless love to everyone out there.
Yeah.
So what kind of made you want to cover Rectus Love and then Hosanna as your first 2 kind of songs to introduce yourselves?
Well, I think once again, when we were in China and we were going to church all the time in China, one of the songs they played a lot was Reckless Love, and that was the first time I'd heard it. And we were just like, it's interesting how you can praise God in different ways, you know, and like, you know, even when we were doing mainstream pop and EDM shows and playing at clubs and bars, like we'd be up there praising God through these crazy bass beats and stuff. And so I guess really just like Reckless Love was such a good song and hits me so deep and hits us so deeply. And then just kind of to be able to play it at our own shows and add kind of that dance element and stuff, like just and honestly, it's just getting excited about God. Like I think there's a lot of, you know, older people that are like, oh, that's entertainment, or, you know, how can you be doing worship music with all these crazy synthesizers and screaming around and jumping around and stuff? And I'm like, man, I'll tell you, I'm stoked about God and Jesus and what he's doing in our lives. And I'm just going to jump and do front flips and light stuff on fire and, you know, to these
Peacefully,
crazy beats. And that's just, I'm just stoked on God. And it's cool that we can worship God in a handful of different ways. And those songs were just perfect to take that direction and turn into kind of hip hop, pop, EDM versions.
Cool. I'm slightly nervous that you're surrounded by trees when you like to set things on fire. So don't be starting any bushfires.
Man, have you seen any of the photos or videos of her breathing fire?
No.
I'll have to send you a video, man. She'll like put, what is it? Lamp oil?
Lamp oil.
She'll put lamp oil in her mouth and just, and like a 6-foot flame. It's crazy. We did it at a few concerts last year. It's pretty wild.
Was that how you were roasting the coffee beans in the coffee shop? Was that what made Lane go, I need to ask her name?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, that girl is hot.
I wonder if that's you. That's hilarious.
Sweet. We should try it. We're going to try it with our coffee now. Thank you for the idea.
I wasn't. Yeah. I mean, good luck with that one. have a bucket of water standing ready.
We will.
Yeah. Okay.
So, on the subject of Carrie, why Ulfric? Why is she called Ulfric? Where does that name come from?
Oh. Have you ever watched Scrubs? There's a character that always says that in Scrubs. Maybe that's where I got it.
I mean, a little bit, but not too much.
Okay. When I was we were in Thailand and we were doing our first DJ gig together, like as me playing like as an actual DJ rather than just kind of a show MC DJ. So it was a couple hours before the show, and they needed a graphic to play on the screen behind me, and Lane told me that I had to choose a name before the show started because otherwise they wouldn't have anything to call me. So finally he asked me that, and he's like, oh yeah, what's your name gonna be? And I was like, oh, frick, because I hadn't thought of anything at all. And he was like,
done.
He said,
it's over. It's going on the flyer.
Oh wow! Are you happy that it stuck? Or?
Yeah, I am actually.
Sweet,
I like it. You know, the only problem I have is that I kind of want to do like a softer style of music for my personal stuff. And I mean, oh frick just brings it to mind such a like a headbanging, like crazy dubstep image for me. So I don't know how that'll fit together, but now it's a little too late to change it. So I'll just be a little.
It's a great name.
Well, there's no reason why you can't undergo a name change. I'm sure people will comment in the comments. People comment in the comments below what she should change her name to suit that style of music.
That's a great idea. It's cool.
I mean, you might not get any comments, but there we go.
I hope somebody comments, please.
I'll comment plenty of alternatives.
Thank you.
Somebody will say, "Oh, frick, I don't know." Just kidding.
So, for those fans who are thinking they recognise Lane from somewhere, you've talked about working in the secular music industry and what have you. So, you went by Lancefer and you're going by Lancefer. So, what does this kind of mean for Lancefer's music? Is it kind of on hold for now, or what's happening?
Man, it's kind of cool because the mainstream music industry and pop music and stuff has always been such a mission and a missional tool as well. And there's so many cool things happening in that realm too. It's right now we're super focused on this stuff and just like, it's just so much fun and it's so us, the Trampolines music. And so that's the main focus right now. But we will definitely still continue to do DJ gigs as Frick and pop shows as Lancefer and release music, you know, under those names in the future. Because it's a great way to connect with people. The majority of the tours and shows and opportunities that I've had, as Lancifer have been just, in the mainstream secular industry, and have been really cool ways of connecting with people, and just kind of being that person that's like, oh, he's a Christian guy, but he's here. But he's cool. And, just kind of breaking some of those barriers. And yeah, it's cool, man. So definitely some more music and some more shows as Lancifer in the future. But right now we're just kind of buck wild going into trampolines and focusing on that and just kind of doing exactly what, we're meant to be doing right now. So it's cool.
That's awesome. With either project, you can still bring the bass and boom, let's drop it.
You got it.
So before we get on to some fun questions to wrap up, we're probably better to talk about your debut song dropping tomorrow.
Yeah.
So tell us what it's called. Tell us about the story behind it, the meaning behind it, all that kind of good stuff.
It's called Meet Me Where I'm At. And this was actually a song that Lane wrote before Trampolines ever started. He wrote it back in Myanmar while we were doing some missional stuff and living there and doing music there. And I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, that is a really good song. But it was it's so God-focused. It's amazing. Such a good song. And the melodies really hit me. And so I told Lane that I loved it. And so I think he ended up writing the second verse based around my story. The first verse is kind of his. Second verse is based around my story a little bit, which before I met Lane, I was a hard drug addict and alcoholic. And so it was kind of this song about how God sees where we're at and comes down and meets us there in these low places and brings us out of them. So like oftentimes, especially before I was a Christian, I had this view that Christians were judgmental and that God didn't like sinners and God didn't like girls who drank and partied, and like that, that I would never, like, it just felt to me like judgmental and not good. And I couldn't have been further from the truth. And so I remember the night that I prayed for the first time, I prayed, God, I don't want to quit, but if you're real, like, make me want to quit. Like, I don't believe in you, but if you're there, you'll do it. Which was so, like, I can't even believe he answered me. It was such a...
You're probably not there, but if you are there...
Disrespectful prayer. Really, that's how I prayed. But God is he's so good that even in that moment of just how terrible my life was and how terrible my attitude towards him was, he still came in and he changed my life from that moment on. Nothing was the same. It was all different, to the point that I can't even... if you had told me where I'd be now, I'd call you crazy. And if you knew who I was 4 years ago, you never would have thought that I would be right here. So
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So just before we get on to the silly questions, going back to the Bible stuff, the Bible study you filmed the other day for Acts 11, where can you just tell people where to get connected into that, and tell us about youth group and why you've set up a youth group that all ages can join, because that's not a youth group. That's an all age service.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. So if you want to find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, it's just Trampolines on Facebook, and then Trampolines_official on Instagram. Some of that, but we started a group called Youth Group, and part of that comes from like. For me, like I grew up, not Christian, not believing in anything, and pretty against it, really. And because of my youth group in my hometown in Wyoming and my youth pastor, Andy, I only came to God because of free pizza and dodgeball. Like the dude was like, hey, come to church, there's dodgeball and free pizza. And I was like, well, church, I don't believe in God, but I can believe in dodgeball and free pizza. I'll be there.
That's an awesome way to come to God.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so it was cool how youth group really brought me in, and I started learning about God, learning about all the things that I thought were one way that were really, totally untrue, and just about the love of God and the love of the people around me in youth group. Through that, we've started this group to just really to kind of preach more about what we believe and messages that we're learning about as we're studying the Bible and we're studying God, and to kind of do it along with our fans and friends, and just, in a group online and do some videos. And yeah, we made a video the other day and we're going to make some more, just kind of directed it at younger people, like, who we were, like kids that would never normally go to church because, maybe it was like a lot of older people with ties on and, that whole thing. And because of that, we missed a little bit of the reality of God and just how he is in everything and he's everywhere. And so, yeah, even in funny videos and strange red jumpsuit long johns.
And we called it youth group because we still feel like youth. I mean, we're kind of not anymore. I'm 25, fine. But we really wanted to, like, the sad thing to us is that kind of as kids age out and, they turn 18 and then 21, the fun thing to do kind of becomes to, like, maybe go to the bar and stuff, even sometimes for a lot of, like, church groups. And for people that don't want that, we wanted something that's, like, crazy, like youth group was, but just naturally crazy. So we wanted to, like, invite all people in. So, like, we don't care if you're 40 years old, if you love jumping on trampolines, or, like, if you love playing dodgeball, if you love pizza, like, let's focus on God in a crazy, excited way, no matter what age we are. We didn't want to cut that off. And we didn't want people to feel like they couldn't be into that as adults. We really want people to know that, like, be crazy
and just have fun and relate to and meet people where they're at.
I see what you did there. The debut single comes out tomorrow, by the way, folks.
Hey.
So a new idea for youth leaders out there: dodgeball whilst trampolining, whilst eating pizza, whilst preaching the word of God.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Exactly. Next music video.
Also, if people want to get plugged into that youth group, we'll post it in the comments below. So
thank you so much, bro.
No worries. We'd better find out a little bit more about you. There's some embarrassing questions first before we wrap up. So,
great.
What's the most embarrassing moment you've ever had performing?
Oh. You go first. I know.
Dang. Mine. I love some of the most embarrassing times. I kind of look back at it and I'm like, that was awesome. Like one time.
I don't look back.
It's like when I've had times where I was like fumbling with my cables and stuff wasn't connecting, and I had something backwards in front of like 20,000 people in an arena, and I was just like totally screwing my cables up, and that was pretty bad. But gosh, the most embarrassing. Gosh, I mean, I try to front flip at every show, and I only land like half of them. So, but it's kind of cool. It's not that embarrassing because, even if you land on your back or your head, it's still pretty cool.
Vietnam might have been your most embarrassing one too.
Yeah.
So
we were in Vietnam.
I gotta tell it because I gotta explain why.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were DJing in Vietnam, and the show wasn't like, I wasn't doing excellently in the first place because I was very nervous. It was a big show, and it was more of like a pop EDM scene, and I'm more of the harder EDM stuff. And so in my nervousness, I had my deck in front of me, and there's two sides that you play songs on. And you're playing a song on one side, you load a song on the next to transition over. Well, I'm playing the song on this one side, and it's like this really popular song. It's Get Low, Get Low. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Yeah, Get Low by Little John.
No, Dylan Francis.
Let's all just get low right now.
Yeah. So that's what we did. I sent Lane out into the crowd. I was like, tell everybody to get low, get really low on the dance floor. So everybody gets low. And normally what I do is I take that song and I drop it into Turn Down for What by Little John. But as I'm loading up Turn Down for What, I clicked the wrong side and it loaded over the Get Low song. But on my board, there's like a 10-second delay when a song loads. So Lane's like down there, he's like, get low, get. And if everybody's very low, we're almost at the drop. And then the music just stops. And I'm like, oh, no.
Everybody's low. And
everybody's
I'm like,
low.
Everybody, you got to get low. I don't want to see anybody standing up.
So everybody in this club is like on the ground, and they're all just like, what's going on? The music just stopped. So a couple of people stand up, and Lane holds it. He's like, no, stay low, get low, get. And so Lane is just alone on the microphone, keeping everybody low to the ground while I'm fighting my DJ board. And I accidentally pressed load again because I was so nervous. So it was like 15 seconds of pure silence. And then rough. A totally unexpected drop. It was horrible.
I think, and then from then on,
that sounds like Lane's the hero of that story rather than the embarrassing.
He was, but everybody was like, "That's weird."
And then after that, like I was trying to keep the energy going, and people were like, after that, they were kind of like, "Oh, what's going to happen? Is it going to be a false drop or like?" So I was continuing to go buck wild to try to get them going. Like I was throwing my guitar around and stuff like that, and climbing things, but people were just kind of like, they weren't sure what was going to happen, so they were like, I'm going to stay in my chair.
I had to go for a walk after that one. I just had to go walk. I was like, I'm just going to go walk on the beach for an hour.
I mean, it's one heck of a prank to make people go lower than just do a full drop.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got you. Huh?
Yeah.
That's what you should have done. If that happens again, that's what you should do.
And then just leave.
And then
Should just left.
And that's our set done. Good night.
Good night.
Wow.
So, what's the most embarrassing song that you love, like absolutely adore, that the whole world hates?
Probably for you, I would say 22. Well, nobody hates
22 is a great song, 22 by Taylor Swift. Get out of here.
Right.
I love it a lot. I love some cheesy pop
What's
songs.
the embarrassing one for you, though? He always tries to play Carly Rae Jepsen's new album
I
in the
love
most inappropriate
Carly.
of places. Like, it's a good album, but
It's so good.
he wants to put it on everywhere. Like, somebody's like, hey, throw some hard rap on or something. And he's like, how about this? Check this.
Julian. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love cheesy pop music. I grew up on like Britney Spears and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I was jamming Oops, I Did It Again. Like my parents were like, oh, he's going to end up interesting. But I was just, man, cranking up Oops, I Did It Again. And I still love that stuff. But I love all of it. I love like crazy death metal too. So what about you? You're harder to like.
I don't know. I would say that maybe I'm not really embarrassed by this, but other people might be. I really am a huge fan of like Conway Twitty and like really, really old country songs.
Shout out to my brother Alex.
Shout out. Yeah, when he found out that I knew who Conway Twitty is, because his brother listens to him too. He's like, what? Like, I really think Conway Twitty is awesome. And I really like some of those older people that people are like, what is this? So
Conway Twitty. Do you know Conway Twitty?
I have never heard of him before.
Man, he's a funny looking guy too. He's wild.
We'll have to send him to you.
Yeah,
He's old. He's like this old country singer. He's really low voice, not like Johnny Cash, but close. Like he's really good. I like him.
My brother told me I should do some of the rap country that's going on right now and call myself Kanye Twitty. You'd have to.
Yeah, or not.
Or not.
Or not. I think what's needed for a Trampolines remix single is a country heavy metal cover remix of Call Me Maybe.
Oh, wow.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's pretty
cool.
fun.
If we do it, we'll premiere it with you.
I'll hold you to that.
Deal.
Either that or a Pigeon Hawaii cover of anything.
Wow, that's not a bad idea.
That's excellent. That is a good
not
idea.
a bad idea.
Although I don't know that we can do the accent.
I accept PayPal donations.
Don't do that. That's funny.
That's so good.
You're getting our creative stuff flowing, bro.
We're gonna start writing songs after this.
This worries me that I might be on your level, Lane, in terms of weirdness.
Let's do it.
That's good.
Yeah, bro, we got to come over to the UK, man, and hang out sometime.
Man, I need to take you for a cheeky Nando's.
That'd be awesome, man. Let's do it. Let's go. Dude, you know what?
I want to hear your best English accent in saying, I want a cheeky Nando's, mate.
Oi, I want a cheeky Nando's, oi, right?
That was terrible.
How does that sound from you?
It's awful. Oh, man. And I grew up watching James Bond, so I should have a way better one, but I don't. Man, but you know what I do want when we come there to visit you, bro? Do you know those After 8 chocolate bars?
Yep.
Dude, those are so good, bro. I just not to stop our interview about music, because music and God and all that is important.
It's fine. It's fine with me.
Dude, those dude, I love candy. I eat those barrel of red licorice. I'll eat the whole thing by myself in a day. They're amazing. Anyway, so I love sugar.
How do you still have teeth?
I brush them.
He gets less cavities than I do. It's weird.
It's true. It's
crazy.
Anyways, so when I come there, we got to eat like a whole box of After 8 chocolates together.
A cheeky Nando's and after 8 minutes. Done.
That's awesome. Let's do it.
Hopefully not at the same time. It might taste a bit weird. So what's both of your favourite Bible verse that speaks to you, either right now or in life in general?
You go first.
Gosh, I've been reading a bunch of really good stuff lately, and I love James.
Is it in the Bible or is it not in the Bible?
Yeah, in the Bible, yeah. In the Hawaiian Pigeon Bible, no.
Yeah.
Man, I love 1 Peter. Yeah, exactly. I love James. I've been reading through the New Testament. I just got to Romans, which Romans is one of my favorites. Kind of my longtime favorite verse is Romans 12, 1 and 2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that just, man, that speaks to me, because I just feel like God, like, you know, and also kind of like Carrie's story, like you give God an opportunity and to change you, even if you don't want to be changed, and just asking him, like, that's part of the process and the relationship aspect of it, of God helping you through something that you can't even do yourself. So, you know, that verse in Romans, and just kind of like being transformed by God into, you know, something better, and just growing. And that's one of my favorite ones.
I'd say I have a couple favorites. My favorite right now is Psalms 90:12, and it is, teach us to number our days, Lord, that we might gain a heart of wisdom. And that's really, it's a great verse for me right now, because, you know, as we're all in quarantine, it's kind of easy just to waste time. But that verse really speaks to me in the sense of, like, you know, how many days do we have left? Teach us to number those days so that we would spend our time in the exact right way. And I've really been trying to pay attention to that verse to keep me on track in this time. So the other one that I really like is Proverbs 6 through 11, verses 6 through 11. And I don't remember it exactly, but let me look it up real quick. It's about laziness. And I feel like this verse actually changed my life, because I used to be a little lazy, quite lazy actually. And this verse is, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man.
You sluggard.
So I like this verse because it's, first of all, it's kind of funny. It's just a different addressing than you're used to in the Bible. And I believe it was written by Solomon. And it just, to me, that really inspired me, like, you know, work like an ant, just constant. When have you ever seen ants sleep? I've literally never seen it. I don't think they do. I think they run 24 hours a day. So it was very, like, I used to pray on this verse every day. And I really feel like God changed my work ethic in like 1 week. It was suddenly like, I just wanted to work all the time on things that are important, not just like workaholic on anything. I just wanted to work towards something all the time after that. So that's also a favorite of mine.
And now I can call her sluggard whenever I want.
I don't think that's quite how that works.
Sluggard, wake up!
That's amazing. So penultimate question is how can our readers be praying for you guys in lockdown and beyond that, and with all your mission work and trampolines and any other way you can think of?
Thank you, man.
Pray that Lane doesn't set fire to the trees around him.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. I think the best prayer would maybe be pray that we stay outwardly focused on God, not on ourselves, and to focus on God in the art and the work, because as musicians, it's really easy to make it about us, and especially when you're releasing music publicly. It's really easy to make it about you and say, like, you know, oh, I didn't get enough views and I didn't, you know, I got to do this, like, and suddenly you lose the entire reason you're making music, which is for God. And so if people could just pray that we keep our minds in the right place, especially as we're kind of isolated up here, it's easy to be like, focus on all these silly things. So that would be really awesome. And if anybody would like us to pray anything for them, you know, comment in the video, comment below, and also, you know, message us on Trampolines. We have a prayer group. you can request us as friends on Facebook and ask to be added to that, and we'll pray for you, whatever you post in the group.
And we go live a lot on Instagram and Facebook. I've seen you on there too, bro. I try like every morning or every other morning to, so if it, like she said, if anybody else out there needs prayer, we'd love to pray right back. So thank you for asking, man. And what about you? How can we pray for you, man?
Just prayers for positivity and to continue to find good bands to share. And I'm including you in that category of good.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Cool, man. Thank you, brother.
Just to keep focusing on God and to do his work and all that kind of stuff. But final question to stump you before we wrap up.
All right.
If Pinocchio was to say that his nose will grow right now, what would happen?
Oh, no. You know what? It would be like a paradox, and it would start growing and shrinking. It would just be a mess.
Inception.
The world might explode.
Wow.
That's the best answer we've had yet from an artist. The world might explode.
That's a great question.
That is a good question. I mean, wow. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
How many people have you asked that?
Oh, I don't know. Probably double figures by now.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I feel really bad for everyone that's had to think of this. We're all laying awake at night like,
yeah, that's all you. She's the brains here.
You're going to be lying awake tonight thinking about that and debating that hotly between yourself, aren't you?
The black hole is going to open on Pinocchio's nose.
That's the best reaction we've had so far to that. So it's been absolutely amazing to talk to you tonight. We've run over quite a bit, but it's just so nice to get to know you. So where can just remind people where people can get plugged into you and all that kind of stuff? Yeah.
Please come check out facebook.com/trampolines, or instagram.com/trampolines_official. And YouTube, I'm not sure what our YouTube channel is yet.
Trampolines Official.
Yeah,
it's not yet. Just
Google it's new. We just started all these new channels, so it's cool, man. So yeah, please come and don't just like our page so that we can get followers or whatever, but just because we want to pray for you on live stream and talk to people and connect with people. We love talking to fans, and that's really the the reason to be doing this. So if we're not getting to actually connect and talk with people, then there's no point. So for everybody out there that wants to connect with us, please do. And then we hope to see people after this virus thing in live shows and in real life around the world too.
That's cool. Go and get plugged into them. And their debut single, Meet Me Where I'm At, drops tomorrow. Woo! Buy it, blast it, share it, buy it for your friends, tell all your friends, do all that kind of things, and drop some hot dance moves and send them to them on Instagram stories.
Yes. Thank you so much, bro. It's been awesome hanging out with you, man.
No worries at all. As we wrap up, did one of you just want to pray for everyone who's in lockdown right now, if they're feeling a bit anxious and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yes, I will pray this time.
Awesome.
God, thank you for our friend Ian, and I pray that you would help him to stay focused on you and to find more awesome musicians that are spreading your word that need to be heard by people. I pray for everybody in lockdown right now. You would give them patient hearts and steady minds, that we would all have security and trust in you. And even though we can't be face to face with each other, I pray that you would inspire people to reach out to each other and to spread your love the way that you want us to spread. I pray for healing for the families who have lost people. I pray for healing for the families who are sick. And I pray for economic healing for all the families in the world that are struggling through this. And I pray that they would know that you are the provider and that you have a plan, even in things that don't feel like a plan. I pray that they would just rest and feel secure in you, and that they would be taken care of by their neighbors, their churches, their friends, and that they would take care of people accordingly. And thank you for this opportunity to pause, even though for some of us it feels so terrible. Thank you for the opportunity to slow down, and that we are all caused to rest for a moment and evaluate our lives. And I pray that you would bring so much fruit and good things from that. Thank you for this opportunity to all come together in your name, and just pray for more encouragement, like live streams from big Christian artists and other big artists. And I just, again, thank you for your comfort in these times. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 Thank you,
Right,
bro.
well, no worries. Meet Me Where Matt comes out tomorrow. Go and get it. Here's another clip to give you a taster.
Whoop, whoop.
We break down the walls from inside the wall.